Hey guys, welcome back to another speed build. Per usual, obviously, we always do speed builds here on this channel. Maybe one day we'll get into a let's play or something, but for now, I really like building and, I really like gameplay as well, but basically, I can't really record gameplay or real-time gameplay because my computer will just start lagging. Anyways, so this is going to be a speed build, and this one is not actually a house. This one is going to be sort of like a commercial lot. But with that said, I'm not sure how useful it will be in game because it's not really any of the lot types. So we don't have corporate offices in the Sims. I guess your Sims just don't go to an office. You can go to you have the science career, you have like the doctor career, the detective career, but this one is just going to be like a corporate office. But why it's called corporate campus is because actually the building with the landscaping that I ended up doing, it's very, at least in my mind, is very resemblant to sort of like a campus. To me, it seems like a Silicon Valley kind of San Jose, California building, because with the landscape, it has a lot of stuff going on. It feels very commercial, but it also, because there's two buildings, it seems very closed in. It's very tropical. I put in some palm trees and things like that. So anyways, you'll see in the final, screenshots why I decided to make it like a corporate campus. Anyways, so actually at this point, I didn't really know that this would be a office space. I had originally planned it, I think, to be sort of like an apartment complex, but the more I was doing the landscaping, the more I thought that it looked more like a commercial lot instead of a more residential lot. So that's what I decided to do, and yeah. Anyways, so with this build, it is still a large build nonetheless, but it is smaller than I would have liked it to be. As you can see with all the balconies that we're adding, it does make the floor plan of the rooms on the inside a little bit smaller than I would have liked. It's not as large as a, commercial office space than I would have liked, obviously, because if this is like a tech company or something like that, I would have liked it to be a really large space, but inside it actually turns out to be quite small. And I do something not interesting with the inside, but I do something that kind of makes it look like they're individual office spaces. So I don't know if you can download this and do what you want with it, but you can make it into an apartment complex. You can make it into a huge mansion with, for some reason, 2 buildings on it. Anyways, but this is, it has a couple of different office spaces on the inside. And with that said, we also don't furnish the entire thing, so it's only partially furnished. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again, so I've only decided to furnish one of the, the office spaces. And even when I furnished it, it's not, super done. I did decide to do it very minimally, with just a couple of desks and chairs around the place. And yeah, so we do have 2 buildings. I'm not really sure what I was thinking. Not that it was a bad idea, but just, I don't know, I just decided to do some random 2 buildings on a lot, and I think it looks fine. With the final sort of design, so the office space, the main office space, is the larger building, the one that's shaped like L, and then this one that's just a random oddly shaped rectangle, that one is actually going to be the office space cafeteria. And then there's also a 3rd floor that I didn't really furnish, so it doesn't really have anything in the top floors. And yeah, so if you download this, you'll see there's a ton of spaces that are free to do as you want, to do as whatever design, decoration you want on the inside. And with all of my builds, you can definitely just download it and just do whatever you want with these builds. I don't really mind. I feel like saying that's just asking for trouble, but yeah. Anyways, so we are doing something I mean, there's a common theme going on here. Obviously, you can see that I'm using just a 1x1 room as the main structural support columns, and I'm using that like throughout the entire build basically. And I did like recognize that I was maybe going a little bit too overboard with the columns, especially in that flat side of the building, of the outbuilding. It does have a ton of columns, and I think that in the speed build portion, you can't really, or I fix it, but you don't see it in the speed build portion, but you will see it in the final screenshots. So I do change up the, I guess the structural supports a little bit. And yeah, also I did want to talk about why I saved just now, like in the middle. It was probably a couple seconds ago, but for some reason this happens to me, not a lot, but it happens to me occasionally. It's almost like a button gets stuck on my like keyboard or something, but it's not really stuck. It's kind of weird because I'll be scrolling around the screen and all of a sudden like it starts to go to the left and then down, and I just couldn't get it back. So I had to like save it and sort of like restart it. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Anyways, so at this point we're doing some of the windows, and just now I placed a lot of windows, and then I realized that when I placed a lot of windows and I covered up the sort of blue accented color, wallpaper color, that you couldn't actually see any of the blue wallpaper, so I decided to only put windows occasionally instead of the entire blue section. Because I also was deciding upon which colors to use. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep this blue, but then I forgot to change it in the end, so I guess I just kept it as blue, blue and white. And yeah, and I'm so happy that we're not building in Oasis Springs. I mean, I love Oasis Springs, it looks great, but every single time you put white on the walls, it just turns like a weird shade of beige, and I just really don't like it. This is my first time building at Magnolia Promenade, which I love. I love Magnolia Promenade. The only thing though is that it only has 4 lots. It's so weird. Sometimes some worlds have like tons of lots, and then some are like barely any. Like the world that you get in, well, I don't have any of the vacation packs or anything, or the packs with vacation worlds, so I don't have the, what is that one? The Jungle Adventure yet. I don't have the one, what is it called? The one with Granite Falls or something, and those ones barely have any lots. This one is really similar. It only has 4, but then you get like Newcrest and you get Oasis Springs, which have tons of lots. I mean, maybe because they're base game or something, I'm not really sure, but yeah, I would have really liked there to be more lots at Magnolia Promenade because it's so pretty. It reminds me very much of a Beverly Hills kind of area. I mean, you can see the street. Well, not in this shot, but if you go into Magnolia Promenade and you look at the streets, it's like a nice boulevard. It's nicely kept and clean, and it just looks really pretty. And then you have the city in the background, which, I don't know. I think of it as San Myshuno, but it's probably not. And anyways, yeah, so we are doing a little bit of landscaping. We are continuing the palm trees, and that's also another reason why I like Magnolia Promenade, because it has like palm trees around, so it does give it a very much of a feeling of being like beachside, coastal a little bit. And we decided to continue that sort of theme because we add in palm trees as some of the trees around the lot. And yeah, and we do also include the other tropical tree. I'm not sure what kind of tree that is, but there's like 2 types of trees on this lot. And yeah, we're scaling down, or well, we already did, but we scaled down the shrubs, and then we just sort of lined a couple of the walkways and stuff. And this is when it's really starting to get a little bit more commercially. I mean, what residential, unless you live in a fancy residential sort of property management like property or something, I don't know if you would have these really large fountains. I decided to do something a little bit fun with the fountains. I thought that it was nice. I think they're supposed to work for every wall height, but I decided to make it like a art piece that it was like cascading down. And yeah, so we have a fountain in the front and a lot of nice water features, and it looks so good in like real time because there's so much moving water around. And yeah, so now we're going on to nighttime, and then we are just adding some lights around, and we are using these lights. These are lights that I feel are a little bit more commercial looking, so yeah, and I think it gives a really nice ambiance around the property. It gives a nice glow, and you can see the light bouncing off of the sort of white walls, and I think it looks really cool. And then we are also deciding to accent each of the little alcoves that we created with the balconies with a tiny little floor lamp, or not floor lamp, floor light. And yeah, that also does make the little rooms like lit up slightly, and it looks pretty cool, I have to say. And also with the balconies, unfortunately it's kind of stupid because you can't actually get to any of the balconies. Like, I don't include any doors. They're just there for aesthetical purposes. And yeah, I feel like part of me kind of wants to make it converted back to an apartment complex like I had originally planned, but I don't know. I mean, I might revisit it, maybe not. Anyways, to like make sure that, you know, those like balconies were actually functional instead of like completely there for looks. And yeah. And now so we're going into the interior, and this is I guess the reception area. So we are making a front desk, and then we do include like a nice sitting area, but that actually comes in towards the end because originally I had made, like elevators. I had made fake elevators, so I just created like 2x2 rooms and then put a door on it. But unfortunately we don't have working elevators in... Do we have working elevators? I think that's a mod that somebody made, and I think I talked about it in one of my previous videos, that there's like a mod to have working elevators and like random lots and stuff. But I don't have any mods. I don't include mods in my game. I don't know. I mean, that's just a personal preference. I know that there's a lot of people who do use mods, and you know, you can find some really awesome stuff, like custom content. You can do some really cool things as well, but I don't really include any of that. I usually just do everything from the game. And I like it that way. I don't know, it's just like a preference that I have. I just feel like if I actually download anything like that's not officially from The Sims, that my game is gonna freak out and just go wrong. I think it's because I did something like that with my Sims 3 game. So when I had The Sims 3, I think I downloaded some custom content, and then you either get like bad custom content that doesn't end up working, and I don't know if that contributed to why my game just completely crapped out on me. Because my game did, I don't know what happened. I think I lost my entire world one time, and I was so upset about it. I think that was before we had like uploading to the gallery, so everything that you created in the game was just in your game. And when I lost my game, I was so sad, and I just refused to play it again, because every single time I would every single time I would play the game, I would just be reminded that all of my stuff was lost. And I was just so gutted, so heartbroken. And yeah. Anyways, so we are doing a couple of the bathrooms. I realized that there wasn't any bathrooms for the common like spaces, so we decided to add a couple of bathrooms. And this one, it's not like a male and a female bathroom, especially now with a lot of gender topics, but we decided to do individual bathrooms. So there's 3 individual bathrooms. Each of them are really large, so they're handicap accessible as well. But we don't have handicaps in The Sims, which is something that I feel like we should. I mean, Sims are really good into including diversity, but we still don't have like any disabled Sims or anything, so I would have liked to see that. That'd be cool. But there is a huge interaction that you have to include with that. A lot of different sort of interactions. And yeah, so upstairs, there's one office space downstairs, and then there's 2 upstairs. Oops, hopefully you didn't hear that. That was like my Bluetooth thing shutting off. Anyways, so this one is a smaller one on the upstairs, and then this one is the one that we're actually going to furnish. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, this isn't the focus is not really much on the interior. The focus is more on the exterior. I think it looks really good from the exterior, and I decided to, be a little bit tamer in the inside. Yeah, so we are continuing that blue sort of theme on the outside because we're bringing blue on the inside. And yeah, this is when we're just removing the elevators and deciding to put in the, I guess, waiting area. And this is the first time that I'm actually using these sofas. These sofas are interesting. I think that in the right setting, they look good, but they're just not really practical. Practical in the sense of not being able to use them in a lot of builds, because the headboard, I'm not sure if it's called a headboard, but I'm just using that because it's kind of like a headboard. Anyways, the headboard is just so tall, and it's like, what person would actually, I guess, have that in their house or in their space? It's just such a weird, like couch or something. It does look really similar to one of the couches that we have that is the headboard is on an angle. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I think that maybe they could have come in the same pack. I don't really know what pack that came in, but I don't know. I mean, it's just so weird. The headboard shapes of some of the couches are just so interesting and so just unnecessary. The thing is, we just don't have a very good base couch. We do have a base couch, but it's very modular. It's super square. It looks kind of fake, and I don't really like using it that much because it looks too fake. But I think I have used it in a couple of my builds, so. Anyways, this I think is also the matching armchair as well. That's the one with the, what is it called? There's a name for that kind of material that has buttons every now and then on the surface. I'm not sure. I want to say tufted, but I don't think that's right. Anyways, so this is the office space that we are going to furnish. This is the smaller reception area. So I was a little bit back and forth between how I wanted to, I guess, theme this whole entire build. If I wanted it to be a collection of smaller office spaces, or if I wanted it to be one giant office space. So in the end, I'm actually not really sure. It's kind of a confusing build, to be honest, because there's a smaller reception area for the individual office, but then there's a large reception area. It's kind of weird. And yeah, so we're deciding to make this a little bit cool. The colors are a little bit monotone, but you have the green, bright green, paper lantern kind of thing. And yeah, I'm not really sure what kind of office space this is or what kind of company this is, but based on, I guess, the exterior, to me it seems like a techie office, but when you go on the inside, to me it seems almost like a talent agency because of some of the furniture that I put later on. It does seem a little bit like that, I guess. And yeah, so now we are just doing some semi-cubicles. They're not as closed in as cubicles, but you do have the half walls with the added fence on the top as a little bit of a privacy screen. I would have liked to make a really open sort of, I guess, layout, but I don't think we had that much room, so I struggled a little bit with trying to make it very open and very collaborative space. And yeah, also with this interior, it is a lot smaller than I had thought it was, especially because of all the balconies that we added in the beginning. So you can see I'm basically kitty cornering the chairs, the purple chairs, and I'm not really sure if any of them are functional. I'm not sure if your Sims can get to any of them. Also because the computer can only be placed on the middle section, whereas the chairs are all on the side. I'm not really sure if that works. It probably doesn't. I don't think it does. But this whole build is just like, is it even usable? Can you even use this build? I don't even know. You can maybe convert it to a mansion, but other than that, I'm not really sure any other time you would ever use this build. You can convert it to other things, but we don't really have corporate offices in The Sims. I mean, we have get to work, but that doesn't include like a businessman or businesswoman kind of job that you just go into a regular office space. And yeah, so this is the only, I guess, office space that we're furnishing, but it does have an upstairs. As you might have seen, we did include a stairs on the inside of the sort of office space. So it does have a second floor, but I didn't do the second floor just because, to be completely honest, I wasn't really into the furnishing. I was into it in the very beginning because I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make this so cool, but then I don't know, I slowly started to do more and more of it, and I just wasn't really into it anymore. So I decided to just move on to this building, and this one is sort of the cafeteria space. So this one is maybe where, you know, after a long day of working, or not a long day of working, but after half a day of working, you have a nice on-campus, in quotation marks, on-campus, sort of, what is it, like cafeteria space where it's just very open. And yeah, so this is the downstairs kitchen area, just for the on-site like chefs or something. And then on the upstairs, we have the main cafeteria area. And the cafeteria area is a little bit bland, but yeah, I mean, it's bland, but I would have really liked to do something more with it. I just couldn't figure out what to do. I think the whole interesting part of this build is definitely just the look of it from the exterior. The interior is a little bit interesting, but like I keep saying, completely download it, do whatever you want with it, and yeah. So up here we have, this is the like main cafeteria space. So you would go like downstairs, walk across campus, and then you would go to this building and then just walk up the stairs, and then this is supposed to be like a serving area. So after the cooks prepare the food, then you would go up here to sort of retrieve, I don't know, it would be like a buffet kind of style where there would just be a bunch of like plates on top of these counters, and then you would just go in a line and get your stuff and then go sit down in the, I guess, dining area. And then I really wanted a sense of like community in this space, so I decided to use the picnic tables. Now, they weren't exactly what I was hoping for. It does look a little bit weird, like I feel like it doesn't really go, but I decided to go with it anyways because I didn't want to put just tables and chairs around. I thought that this picnic table was somewhat cooler. And yeah, so there's also a smaller kitchenette area on the side that just has a microwave and stuff, you know, if you are if you brought your own lunch and you just want to heat things up. So yeah, but that was all of the furnishing. These are some of the screenshots, and we are just going to like 360 around this lot. As you can kind of see, we're going like in a clockwise motion around the lot, just so you can see every single side. And yeah, so like I said, oops, sorry, my voice just completely crapped out of me. But like I said, I did change up the side of the larger building a little bit. I don't know if you noticed. You probably didn't. But yeah, it does. I don't know. I mean, I like it. I think it looks really good on the outside. I've never done anything like it before. I really wish we had corporate office spaces. But yeah. Anyway, so this is the inside office space. Kind of bland, not that much character, but imagine it just bustling with people. And yeah, and then this is the like entrance space to the cafeteria, and you could see it too because it has the like sign that says, hey, this is like a restaurant or something. And yeah, we didn't include my favorite pop art slot painting, which I love. And yeah, it just looks kind of bland, maybe because there's not that many people in it, but yeah. Anyways, we have a couple of shots at night because I think the nighttime looks really good. You can get a nice shot of all the lights. I love the fountain area. The fountain area is so cool. Yeah. But that is going to be it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!